In BMX, street is king. It's where all the progression happens, and it's where history is made. It's where the most credible tricks are done. It's where people leave their mark on the sport. Real BMX is a video contest where we take the X Games out of the stadium and into the streets, back where it all began, in their natural environment, for a rider and a filmer to submit a 90-second video part in hopes of taking home X Games gold. Welcome to the best of X Games Real BMX. I'm your host, Mike Escamilla. Joining me today is Dakota Roach, who's no stranger to Real BMX. You were a host, a judge, and an athlete. Also, one of the top pros for the last 15 years. You built your career on video parts. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, stoked to be here.
Also, Calvin Koltovich, who's all the way from Australia. He's been dropping hammers and video parts that have been no joke for the past 10 years, as well as being one of the top filmers today in BMX. Thanks, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Today, we're gonna look back the last 7 years of Real BMX, highlight our 10 most memorable video parts, and some of our favorite tricks to have ever gone down. You know, we know how important the video part is, but explain to everybody how much it matters. What does the video part mean to people in BMX?
I think it's probably, one of the most important things. It can't be overstated. It's where you're showing the best work you could possibly do in like an urban environment that wasn't designed for these tricks that you're doing. There's something very special about it, and I can't imagine it ever not being a part of BMX.
We've needed this forever, like a contest for street riders to go out there and absolutely put it down. And everybody went in on these projects. Like, you watch all the seasons, it's crazy. It's actually crazy.
These video parts are just basically a story. We're telling a story. We're telling what it's like to be out there, how hard it is, the work that goes into it, and then you get this polished version of it, and it's real. It is literally real. It's real BMX.
When you're trying to film a Real BMX video part, how much time goes into actually having to find the spots first?
It's crucial to have the right spots for the right tricks you want to do for a part, The streets are wide open, endless. So finding good spots is key. That's basically the difference between a good part and a bad part. Because if you find the spots that make sense for the tricks you want to do, your part's going to be better. And that's where the progression happens,
Well, speaking of progression, we're about to see the most progressive tricks that have ever been done here in Real BMX. And here it is, Felix Prangenberg with our #1 most progressive trick.
Let's break it down real quick.
Yeah.
He's doing a lucky hard 180, lands in a fakie manual, keeps it straight enough to do a fakie tail whip down the set. How do you come up with this? He could have picked a way easier grind to 180 out of to get into the manual. He picked one of the hardest things to do a hard 180 out of.
Well, that's what we're doing here, folks.
Yeah, hard tricks.
That's what we're doing here.
Hard tricks.
That's the difference, right? You don't find a setup and go, I'm gonna do the easiest version to get the one part of the trick I wanna get. Every piece of the trick is the hardest version of what you could do to get to the end.
Yeah, that's really the difference between a traditional contest and Real BMX.
Yeah, you can take all those chances because you're gonna get 50 tries, maybe. On the topic of Felix Prangenberg, here's his 2021 Real BMX gold medal part, filmed by David Schaller.
I mean, even this opening clip opens
like
with
that.
a 5-cab bar spin.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. Unreal.
Oh, I love that.
You love a 5, don't you?
Yeah, I love a 5, and I love that.
Feeble hard 3 off the middle of the ledge, like down a 10 stair.
It's like one of those things I just waiting to see someone do good, and that just so good.
Perfection. David was ripping on the board next to him, fisheye. He filmed that perfect, and I really like his film style. Really raw, bit of Super 8, creates a really nice vibe for Felix, and he complemented Felix's tricks really nicely.
So it was a switch-footed switch tail whip, and then he switched back and did a regular 180 whip. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was perfect. I love this clip.
Oh, it's so good.
Dead perfect. He made something so hard look so effortless.
And then this, look at, he switched his feet in the middle of the line.
You know what I like about that clip is that he had to go fast for that first clip, which is kind of heavy.
That looked like a video game to me.
It's hard to tell when he's going his regular or his switch way
Yeah.
because he does it so much so easily.
Another switch foot.
Some of the stuff's so complicated, it's hard to even know what they're doing, which is crazy for 3 people who have probably 70 years of BMX under them together.
I think me and Dak both speak highly of this clip.
Fakey 720. Full speed.
There was no hesitation on that.
I don't know about you guys, but when I heard Felix was filming a part for this, I was like, I cannot wait to see what this dude comes up with. Cause like I'd say like more so in the last 5 years, I've been hearing his name more and more and seeing the stuff he's putting out, and it's all so progressive and it's so ahead of its time that it's like, you're just like waiting to see what he does next, you know?
Yeah, once I heard his name, I was like, he's gonna get a medal.
Yeah.
He's just at that level of riding right now where he's progressing the game and he's at the top of his fields.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Garrett, and Felix is, you know, it's hard to argue. He's right up there with him as far as the way he puts things together and how he puts them together. What do you think head-to-head, they both won gold different years. Head-to-head, what do you think?
I can't even speculate on that, to be honest. I know both of them are top-tier riders, top-tier skill levels, and I think I'd be excited to see something like that. You know, I'd like to see them go head-to-head.
I would love to see them head-to-head in real BMX. It'd be really hard to judge with those 2 guys going at it. It'd be crazy.
All right, when we come back, we're gonna check out some of the biggest tricks, but also some of the heaviest slams. Stay with us. Welcome back to the best of Real BMX. Now, we've been talking about how technicality is something that the judges are looking for, but Dak, what else do you look for in a video part?
Dude, you're looking for like hammers, dude. Like the biggest tricks you can do. Hammers.
Just deadly, deadly stuff.
Yeah, gnarly stuff.
What about you?
I think simple tricks on big setups. That's what we're looking for sure.
Well, with that said, let's take a look at some of the biggest tricks we've seen so far in Real BMX. And in the one spot, Jordan Hango with a feeble drop to rail. This is awesome.
The spot is so scary looking. What we're seeing is he's jumping over the rail into the feeble, landing that small space for the feeble, and then when he goes from the feeble to the grind, it's an overgrind essentially. There are so many different things that can go wrong in this scenario. I can't even talk about it, dude.
It's dangerous.
There's no not committing first go.
Well, there's nowhere else you can feel that out either. You couldn't go to a skate park and learn this trick. This has to be done in real time.
Yeah.
I think like the riskiest factor in that was him running steel pegs and riding an aluminum rail. That combination, super dangerous. Soft metal, hard metal, and dropping into that rail the way he did, aluminum just sticks. It could have locked up and he could have flipped over the bars.
And that's a far way down from where he got on the rail to where the ground is. It's a long way to fall. You don't want that.
I know exactly what clip this is. All right, we got the whole part. It's time. It's time to go get that one. The one that we know is gonna suck. The one that we don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
The one that's probably gonna end up, putting me in the hospital.
The light, the onboard light is out. So you know they're on a crunch time situation, whether they might not be coming back, or it could have been the last day of filming. He went into it knowing he had to get it right there and then.
I'm assuming this is the last thing he filmed.
Props to Hango for doing that, for real. That's nuts.
I know why that's number one.
Yep.
No doubt.
It's tricks like that that earned Jordan a gold medal in 2019. Let's check out his full part, filmed by Andrew Schubert. I love this homage to the old X Games commercial throw-tos. Pretty cool. I love that rock over the fence. I think for me, that opening thing really made it feel BMX to me. Because that feels so 90s BMX, where you just rode everything, that it just set the part off.
He's like one of my favorite riders for sure. That bump right there, that's crazy.
That bank is right behind that rail. You go a little too fast and it's over.
Well, it looks like he's enjoying riding so much.
He loves it. Yeah.
Every clip, even the savage ones, even the scary ones, it looks like he's just loving every second of being on his bike. When you see people that look like they're enjoying what they're doing, it's hard to turn your eyes away.
Yeah.
Every single clip is something you need to watch multiple times to understand how gnarly it is. Like having to thread the needle, or the runway not being good and him still doing it anyways. He doesn't take no for an answer from spots.
This hits home because this is such an iconic LA spot, and I grew up riding that spot. Never would I have thought about that.
Switch wall ride to pull across pegs hard down a rail. It was done beautifully. Think about riding on that roof and approaching that wall.
It's gnarly, it's blind.
If you don't get on that rail right, dire consequences. We're not talking about falling off of a 3-stair, we're talking about falling off a building.
It is the definition of dead man.
Zero room for error.
Jordan won the gold in 2019, and then he was invited back for 2020, and he passed.
I mean, he's underground and he's core and he's like a true BMXer, and I think he just likes to be out filming with his homies and less pressure on him, and at the end of the day, he's undefeated.
That's good. As you know, with great reward comes great risk. Here are some of the heaviest slams we've seen in real BMX. In the only category you don't want to win, Nathan Williams takes cake. All right, well, let's hear from Nathan and Peter Adam, his filmer, about this terrible slam.
Puts it in perspective, like what he does on a bike is extremely dangerous and the consequences are extremely high. And 99 times out of 100 it does work out, but one time it doesn't. He's unconscious on the ground going for a CAT scan. Nathan rides at that level with those consequences every other day, which is, he just loves it. It's kind of what drives him, get out of bed in the morning.
The why for me, why I do it, basically it's just me pushing myself to see what I'm capable of, but then also looking at the video part as almost like an art piece, in my head. sometimes that's the motivation for some of the scarier stuff too, is it's like, oh, I really want this for my part, because I think it's gonna either add a little something to it or whatever.
But the main thing is, he's okay, and Nathan being Nathan, he'll be back on the horse. He'll be as motivated as ever and fired out.
There's still always going to be room for things to go real bad, unfortunately.
Yep.
You got to be really down to push it.
Yeah.
When we come back, it's all about the spots. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm Mike Escamilla. Joining me is Dakota Roach and Calvin Kosovich, and we're talking about all things real BMX. We just finished a segment about rolling the dice and paying the price. And no one knows it better than Colt Fake. Here's his silver medal video from 2016, filmed by Daryl Taco. Buckle up. Yeah, I love this beginning because I love that he did it himself.
He threw the fire before he rode through it.
Dude, this is gnarly. This is a spot you wouldn't even look at as a spot.
That's big brain energy right there.
Yeah, it is.
It's 2 pieces of concrete.
Ooh,
Savage.
a little bit of tech too. A lot of people were surprised that he actually got an invite to this, and I think they were all quickly mistaken.
Yeah, the wild card right here.
Fully click turn down off a roof to flat.
And even though most of the stuff is burly, like that 270 ice over is super tech.
There's no shortage of skills. He just prefers to do really crazy looking stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just like send it and hope for the best. There's a little bit of that element, but he actually has control.
This part is like one of those, he's a product of his environment. Mm-hmm. You know, who's doing ramp tricks on the roof? This is so gnarly.
Jumping into that thing, threading.
That ends bad every way.
Daryl and Colt working together. You were seeing Colt in like high definition for the first time, like cinematic, smooth filming, and like it still screams band, and like he captured it perfectly. I loved it. Yeah, you can't take the roar out of Colt.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I don't know one person who would do this.
Absolute controlled chaos. Some of the craziest things ever done back to back.
There's no getting out of this not hurting.
The way he compresses into the ground is like, he's like turns into a tin can.
I could watch it 1,000,000 times and it doesn't get any less gnarly.
I can't have anything bad to say about this. He's on roofs, he's on fire. I mean, it's like I wrote the playbook.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he did it better. He is the underdog when everyone saw that he was on the list. And I think everyone sort of wrote him off as being, okay, well, he got in, they let him in, he's gonna get 5th place. Because the people he's going against were the most heaviest hitter, tech, progressive dudes. And he came through with something that I think just reeks of BMX and gnarliness. And then, on top of that, some of it was really tech and hard.
For sure.
Hidden in insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his persona is that it's just wild man stuff, but it's like, no, this is difficult wild man stuff. It's both.
Everyone likes Colt, but I don't think people respected him in the way that they do now. This put him on the map, I think, as far as like being able to stand up with some of the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colt Fake's insane, but let's look at someone else with a totally different way they approach video parts. Simone Barraco. I mean, he's silky smooth. He appears to have everything dialed, and he has a style that is unmatched. Let's check out his 2019 silver medal video filmed by Ryan Chadwick.
So this intro is really cool. The colors are amazing. And you have to understand it's 90 seconds, so you have to like build a little story really quickly.
And he just opens it up with a 540 to bonk on a pole down a set. To go to a spot like Makba and get something completely unique and insane, it's really special.
Yeah.
Because it goes to show that the spot's not done, and it goes to show someone's like creative ability.
Exactly.
This A sculpture, no one's looking at that spot like that. And if they are, they're just looking at it. They're not doing it. I don't get that.
No, either do I. This is one of my favorite clips in like all of the videos. The manual up around the fence to fakie nose down.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful use of that setup.
Signature Simo right there.
This long ice is like perfect, no wobble, and then he hard tooths out, which I don't get.
Transferring from an ice pick into a tooth and being able to swing it hard 180, it doesn't seem like it is physically possible.
His whole aesthetic, the way he's looking, like the way he just swags, it's just like you can't beat it.
This stands out to me so much. Tire slide to wall bonk
I think you could bring 5 million people to that spot and no one would think that that was the thing you can do there. And he just did it and made it look so good. So good.
Yeah, this is like a super risky move.
If he doesn't get those bars in time, that's a miserable crash.
Yeah, Chadwick did a good job of that.
I'd say when I think of Simo, I think of like this like style and flow and this like very tasteful riding, but he's also a hardcore, gnarly savage inside who's willing to like, you know, he could ride any large setup you put in front of him. What he can do is really tasteful, beautifully crafted trick on that obstacle.
Exactly, he makes a dangerous spot just like super safe looking. In some way, it's like, yeah, something dangerous with so much style is like the coolest thing in the world. Like, yeah.
I always envy people that can do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Simone can appreciate a good spot when he sees one. Let's check out the most creative spot usage in real BMX history. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. First place for spot usage, Erik Elstran with that roller coaster rail.
He starts with a crook and then jumps into a roller coaster grind. So he's jumping from the outside of the rail to the inside of the rail. And then at the last kink right there, he jumps over to the furthest rail, lands 2 tires, 180 bar off. Like, what on earth? How did you come up with this?
I don't know, he just played around with it. Like, he made it look like it was chill, but like, that's so dangerous.
He really did make something that could have gone wrong in so many different ways look like it was effortless. Chalk that up to no one else would think to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's what you call a unicorn spot. Hard to find.
Yeah, anytime you see those types of unique spots in videos, you gotta realize so much more went into it than just doing the trick. It's finding the spot, it's tracking it down, it's driving to it, it's getting ready for it. It's like, it's a whole ordeal. It's not just a trick, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it before, spot is king, and in this case, so is Erik Elstran. Sit tight, Best of BMX will be right back with more Erik Elstran and Colin Varanyak. Welcome back to X Games Best of Real BMX. I'm Mike Escamilla, this is Dakota Roach and Calvin Kosovich. Handrails are a staple in any video part. Let's take a look back at some of our favorite rail tricks. And in that one spot, Erik Elstran with a toothpick whiplash.
I think, yeah, it deserves #1 spot because we've never seen it before and we'll probably never see it again. Yeah, it's good to see something new, right?
Who else would look at that and think that that was something to do on that rail?
It's just one of those tricks where you're combining so many different avenues of BMX, flatland with street, and you're doing it in a way that no one's ever done it before. It's one of those things that I don't know if it'll catch on, but any way you look at it, it's the origins of new things starting to happen on rails.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't one of those tricks that you're gonna see in a video and then convince yourself you can go learn at a skate park. This is very unique to the individual.
It's the kind of trick that sparks a new way of thinking about going down rails.
Yeah.
Big props to Erik for bringing that to the table. It's unbelievable that he did that.
From that last clip, you can tell Erik is no ordinary rider. Let's check out the video part in 2020 that earned him the bronze, filmed by Walter Prangerberg.
Look at this intro. You got this fake fire behind him, goggles, and a Space Jams jersey. Like, what am I in for right now? I don't even know what I just saw right there.
But then the first clip out is like the most BMX clip ever. Just like a perfect table over a set of street doubles.
Yeah.
Straight into a crazy rail trick. Feeble up, fakie, hang 5 down.
Erik has every single trick under his belt, and his personality is what's creating this video part you're seeing, with new tricks you've never seen before, and just the way he uses the spots, like, it's working for sure.
It's such a unique approach to riding that I can't compare him to anybody else. He's his own person, for sure.
Yeah, I think overall, Walter and Erik working together, I think that was like the perfect combination.
You know, there's something he does in his part too, is he has these clips that are really legit gnarly, and then he has no problem peppering in these clips that are clearly only for him.
Right.
You know? I think if you're putting clips in like this hop down the stairs in your real BMX section, then you're doing this for you.
He did a feeble to frontside crank arm 270. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
All of Erik's tricks, the only thing harder to pull off is his outfit.
Yeah, that's about as crazy as it gets right there. Perfect, absolutely perfect.
The control that you need to have for that, incredible.
He's showing us what he can do on his bike, and he's having the best time doing it.
The idea that this is for a gold is, I don't think it matters to him, because he's filming what clips he wants to film to create a vibe that really represents him.
Yep, he's on his own path. See, I like this part because it's his personality and it's wild and this visual representation of who he is, but then he peppers in these like very traditional BMX tricks that look amazing. Beautiful tabletop, wall ride tire slide, like he really can do it all.
I think that the need to be himself outweighs the need to follow the pack, but when you're that skillful at so many avenues of BMX, you can't beat it, really.
Yeah.
New Jersey to California transplant Colin Varanyak brings East and West Coast together in this 2018 silver medal video filmed by Dobie.
Really cool establishing shot for this rail.
Very cinematic.
And then proceeds to do a Predator over ice bar. Casual looking too.
So casual, and then switch pegs over hard 180.
Full speed up rail, gap up rail.
Yeah, that pegs to gap ice is like super hairy. That second rail usually would be lower, but it's actually sitting a little higher. So you actually have to pop out of that dull peg into it. Super scary.
When you pull across, it does not set you up for an ice pick. You can tell that looks difficult.
Bar spin into that fakie manual, and then throwing a switch bar spin out.
This switch hanger, switch bars, what a setup.
That's one of the cool things about this part too, is this transition between East Coast and West Coast spots.
And then a trick to win my heart, a 3-whip on a roof. Rarely do you get to see someone use a roof as a spine ramp, and then 180 off.
Yeah.
It's a regular ride to switch pegs.
Unicorn of a trick and setup. Switchback crook, revert bar, manual 180. Literally, it feels like I'm speaking a different language when I'm talking about his tricks. Trucking that block set, landing, and then just cranking at an up rail to wall ride.
It's safe to say that Colin owns the fakie game.
Goodness gracious, that's so terrifying. He does it so perfect.
And this next setup is dope.
So impressive.
Mind melters.
Love seeing that. Dobie killed it.
Filmed great.
I feel like he's underrated because he's so good that it doesn't seem hard. Some of the stuff he's doing is so hard, and he makes it look so easy that I think we don't really conceive how good he actually is.
Right.
He's doing a lot of tricks and he's doing a lot of switch. It's easy to like overlook it or just not see it. That's why you have to watch his parts over again and like really study it, because then you realize what he's actually doing, and it's the most progressive stuff in BMX.
I mean, it's a true testament though, isn't it? It's like when you have a video part that you need to watch multiple times to understand what's going on, that goes to show how good the part is, how much work got put into it. You can't just watch it once and digest all the tricks. I'm gonna have to watch it 100 times, especially this part, to digest them.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more Real BMX videos from heavy hitters Nathan Williams and Brad Sims. Welcome back to X Games Best of Real BMX. I'm Mike Escamilla. This is Dakota Roach with Calvin Kosovich. Now, this contest was made for riders like two-time medalist Nathan Williams, who excels at video parts. Let's sit back and watch how Nathan and filmer Peter Adam won gold in 2017. Little morning routine.
It's such a cool way to establish the video. And then he walks up some stairs after having some coffee and then does the most savage over ice you can do.
Straight out the gate.
No joke.
Nollie hanger nose manual down a rail. He really did that as good as you possibly could.
Nobody's doing that. That's a Nathan move right there.
This switch over ice is so gnarly just because that punji stick is just ready to impale him. You cannot mess that up.
Yeah, the transitioning shots here between these tricks is really nice by Peter.
That's like an 8 stair that he had to bump jump to 360, this massive death gap right here. I mean, you could tell by how fast he was going, like the distance is there. It is far.
Any clip where someone's pedaling at it, I'm into.
The tooth hard backlash into the street.
He did it perfect.
Handled it.
This 180 into that 540 cab and coming out with speed.
There's so much in this video part.
All of the filming is just standing out. It's just documented so well.
That's a switch 180 out of the pole jam.
Extremely technical and difficult. Incredible.
Yeah.
That feeble hard's wild because you're going so fast. I can't believe you can get that 180 around.
Driving you straight into the ground, still muscling that 180.
That closing clip is unreal. The run-in is way tighter and shorter than you think. For him to gap that far and do a switch ice, so impressive.
Did it so perfect too, just like everything else in this part. This is just overall such an incredible display of control savagery.
Yeah.
Controlled savagery is what I'm gonna call it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Nathan puts it on the line, man. Every time.
This part was so good.
So good.
It wasn't just, hey, he's a tech guy, it's all tech stuff. He's a burly guy, it's all burly stuff. The way it was filmed, went back and forth, wide shots, tight shots, and it really felt like a complete part, which you don't get a lot of times in 90 seconds.
Yep, exactly.
In 2018, Brad Sims returned to the spotlight with his Real BMX invite. He teamed up with Christian Regal and let everyone know with that bronze medal performance, you can't sleep on Brad. The establishing shot with Brad is really, if you don't know Brad, he's a guy who travels the world more than anyone you know. So it sort of gives that feel that that's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm coming back to the spotlight from my hiatus and I'm about to drop some hammers on you guys.
And that's what he does. He drops off everything in this part. The thing that Brad has that's really different than other people is his ability to hop, but also his ability to do wall rides off flat and end up 7 feet up the wall.
He really is one of the BMX kings of wall ride to pops and pulls. Like, he can travel 10 feet across out of a wall.
Just sheer power. Unbelievable.
It's just powerful finesse. You think anyone was looking out their window and just see Brad manualing to a crazy rail hop to a 10-foot drop? He doesn't have brakes either. So if his front wheel drops at all, or if he yanks too hard, there's no saving it.
This Feeble 3 on the roof is pretty wild because it's a short roof. There's no place to stumble. So it's kind of a high stakes. And this bunny hop into this ledge, right into the grind, it's one and done. There's no way to practice it. You just gotta go for it.
I don't know anyone who else does manual 180s on rails.
No, it's not supposed to happen. He's defying everything to do that. It's really, really mind-melting.
This is the first time in a while that you got to see Brad with an actual filmer. He spends so much time traveling, it's usually just handing your phone to some kid or some person on the sidewalk in some wild country he's in.
Christian and Brad coming together, making this video part was absolutely amazing.
Let's listen to Brad talk about the ups and downs of filming a real BMX video part.
Real BMX to me is a bit of an emotional roller coaster. 1 minute, you're high, you're on cloud 9 because you did the craziest trick of your life. The next minute, you're either injured or you might be in a dry spot and you haven't filmed anything in 2 to 3 weeks. It's unstable. Yeah.
Tricks versus style is a debate as old as time. Let's check out some of the most stylish tricks done in real BMX history.
Like the greats, and I probably never let up. Running through the defense like Jerome Bettis. Better than the brother that played for the Steelers. Talking about running backs, then he's one of the realest. Solidified his spot on the top with the action. You don't know nothing if you don't know Bo Jackson. Crashing through defenders, never knowing what happened. Going through tackles like I'm driving through traffic. Get hit hard, it can make your brain scramble. Learn the hard way, trying to tackle Earl Campbell. Every Dickinson replay was so magnificent. But if we talking rushing yards, you gotta mention Emmitt Smith. There's not a lot of players fast as Gail Sayers. Do it for the love of the game and make it greater. Let me explain, if you're really in the game, then they might say.
And for that one spot, Julian Molina, tail whip.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
It doesn't look like anything else I've ever seen. It's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's so unique.
His style has adapted to make those tail whips look kind of wild and out of control, except they're not, which is really cool.
I mean, it goes to show how strong his upper body is, because when you're doing a tail whip, you're kicking with your inside leg to get the bike around, and he's doing it without his inside leg. It's all upper body, and look at that. You can tell the hype when he landed too. It's just a really special clip.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's a special clip and a special moment. It's such an amazing tail whip.
Because Julian only has one leg, he's had to learn tricks different than everyone else, which has made them look so special, really. And honestly, it's something I miss, seeing people do things that have their own style. And he's, by default, created a style that's unmatched.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we're gonna close it out with a rider who's tied for the most X Games gold medals in history, the MVP of real BMX, Garrett Reynolds. Welcome back to X Games Best of Real BMX. Throughout this series, so many legendary riders have entered the ring. One of those icons, Corey Martinez. Let's see what he brought to the table back in 2018 when he captured the gold.
If you know anything about Corey's history, this is iconic. Cargo pants and the gloves and the big chain and sprocket.
I love the transition right here, where it just cuts from old school to new school Corey, and he just sends a big gap to ice. Yeah, Barcelona absolutely providing the spots.
His riding is just like so high energy. He's going fast at everything, and it's like every shot opens with him pedaling. I love it.
Yeah.
There's just so much good energy in this part. There's not a lot of tricks you would choose to do over a rail hop, and you definitely wouldn't choose something as scary as doing a switch 180 look back over it with so much room for error. And then this, switch 180 over backwards grind cab manual 180. He really used that spot to its absolute fullest potential. Every inch of that spot.
Yeah, most impressive.
This is just a regular ice over, but that seems like a real hard spot to do it on.
Switch feeble to 180, backwards ice, cab, like absolutely perfect.
Nothing better than a classic high-speed double pegged drop.
Look at this, again, just carrying that speed, that energy through the whole part. It's like, it almost looks like every clip is him like pedaling from the last thing he did. I love when people build stories with their video parts, you know? He goes up regular, does the abubica, and then pulls across to a switch backwards grind down it. So it's like an elevated version of something that he's done in the past, and I love when people build on tricks they've already done.
Yeah, Peter nailed the story for Corey's piece, and yeah, just going back to this classic square one days of Corey and to what he's doing now on his bike, like it's a perfect way to end it.
Absolutely. Love it. Super wide fisheye shot at the end, covers the lens, it's over.
Perfect. The storytelling is key, you know, and you have 90 seconds to tell a story, but also fit in an insane amount of tricks to obviously win the contest, you know? And Peter has like balanced it perfectly. He's made sure there's enough footage of Corey getting absolute bangers and enough to tell Corey's story, you know, throughout the whole film.
Yeah, nothing felt crammed. It felt like you were watching a 5-minute video in 90 seconds. It told a story that would normally take forever, consolidated, and did it very, very tastefully.
Yep.
The more these video parts change, the more they stay the same, you know, for some of these riders. They're in it for life, and it shows. When you find something you love, you just keep pedaling at it.
Yep.
We have been talking about how the filmer contributes to the overall feel of these video parts. In fact, there'd be no video part without the filmer. And in this case, Peter Adams' superb storytelling in this video helped them clinch the gold. For his efforts, we're acknowledging Peter Adams and this video as the best cinematography in Real BMX. All right, Dak, Calvin, thank you so much for all your insight, but we have one more video watch from the rider who's tied for the most X Games gold medals in history, 2 of which are from Real BMX, Garrett Reynolds. Again, another banger from Garrett Reynolds, and who better to talk about it than Garrett himself. Welcome to the studio, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. What does Real BMX mean for you as a contest differ from like a regular traditional contest?
I think Real BMX gives you the opportunity to like really express riding and your creativity to the fullest, where you have a street contest that's limited to like, you know, like 10,000 square foot skate park, which they make really good parks, but when you have street riding, it's like literally anything you could think of, anywheres.
What is it that continues to drive you to put out parts and put out runs that are gold medal parts?
Mostly progression. I think every time you unlock a new trick, it makes BMX a lot funner, but then you always unlock the next trick, and I always like to try to set myself apart from what everyone else is doing. Like, I feel like BMX is a really good way to show your creativity, and everyone creatively looks at it different, and that's kind of what pushes me, is I'm always trying to get to that next trick, that next thing I think I can do.
You've been doing this long enough, we all know what people are capable of. When you see the lineup, whether at a contest or here in Real BMX, does that sort of like go, oh, I know I have to turn it up a notch?
Yeah, I think it actually creates a really good vibe for an environment for everyone to push their riding, which is like, when you're riding with the absolute best, you have to be at your absolute best, and if you're not, you're gonna feel like an idiot there. So I think creating that vibe where everyone's really pushing their riding is, it's really sick.
When you watch all these video parts, and like you said, every single one is a banger. Every single one in its own right could win, and then you do win. Are you like, I am the best?
No, I don't really feel that way, but I am psyched. If you like what you put together, you and your filmer, that's all you want out of a video part. And I think everyone who's ever been in the contest will feel that way. And it's like, first or last, if you made something that you're psyched on creatively, that's what it's all about.
Garrett, thank you so much for stopping by, man. And thank all of you for sticking around. If you want to see all things Real BMX, go to the X Games YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about Real BMX, go to xgames.com.